Figured I'd check in with you on Project Mockingbird. We're going to call it the What the Heck Wednesday kind of thing. I've been doing a lot of the small things, we'll call it behind the scenes things that probably don't really add up to a whole lot. But I've accomplished enough stuff that I realized that maybe I need to do a little catch up and show you what I did. And then some of the things that I have completed, I've already done videos on, so you can check out the previous videos. That helps me out with the views, and it's always the information that you might still be needing, and it still pertains to the same thing. 68 Firebird, when I did all the glass. Because this car now has the door glass and quarter glass in it. They're not adjusted yet because I need to put the top on first, but how do you get the regulator, how do you get the glass back in? Well, I've done videos on that. Check it out here. You want to see how that's done, but that's been completed. I've been working on the back and working on the front now. Look here on the front, I haven't put the bumper on yet, but what I've been doing is sandblasting all the little parts for the convertible top frame and then the bumper brackets, getting things ready to assemble. So I will be doing a video on that, but I just want to give you a quick walk around here on the Mockingbird and get you up to speed. Let's start right here. This bad boy is on the coolest workbench in the whole wide world. I know this drives some of you guys completely 100% insane, but it's the space that I've got, and this car is just in primer. I'm being delicate, but it's just what we got to work with. But now, with that workbench in place here, check this out. I've got the tachometer installed. I got the speedometer taken care of. Got the stack gauges installed. Got the dash refurbished. I mean, it's really just kind of painting it and making it look pretty. I didn't really see you doing a video on that, and then cutting a hole here for the power top switch. But that is ready to be installed for the most part. Waiting on the dash speaker. I forgot to order a speaker for the dash because I forgot. That's why you should make lists and keep on top of this. I'm talking all these bumper brackets. All this stuff has been sandblasted and painted. Even the rubber surrounds here. I sandblasted this. This is the original one. By the time you sandblast, it takes off all the layers of crud, and they actually look really nice and a lot better shape and better condition than the repop stuff. So that's all the little bumper brackets. Those have been sandblasted. And again, I've kind of placed this one on here and the main ones that go here to the subframe, but everything's loose. It's 100% just kind of laying in place as a storage rack to help, consolidate the mess. Because here in Indiana, I swear it was raining 30 seconds ago. You can see the rain clouds. Look at my yard. Sunshine, rain clouds, sunshine. That's how it is here is in Indiana. I've been trying to paint the remaining white parts here for the front bumper, but I just can't get the weather to put the cars outside to finish painting these last bits and pieces that need to be painted white. I painted the grills. This is TransAm style. Reach for it here. Surround is silver, center is black. That is TransAm, not Firebird 400, 350, 600, but TransAm. That's how these are configured. So those are done, ready to be installed when I get the bumper on. Convertible top front bow, sandblasted and painted. Another center bow for the convertible top frame, sandblasted, painted. I need to take all the pins out now and lubricate it, but I'll be doing a video on that. But these are things I've been working on, so you haven't seen much of me, but behind the scenes stuff. Baffles, sandblasted, painted, looks great. Put some badges on it because that's really fun and really cool. The word Pontiac here is on the back. I didn't say anything. Put in a video how to install that. Not that big a deal, but I had to file a few of the holes just a little bit of paint buildup. Nothing really overwhelming. These side markers, probably should have maybe done a video on that. Those things don't fit for crap. I didn't want to file on the quarter panel, so I filed on the studs. They just wouldn't fit in the opening very well, so a little disappointed in those. I got the trunk, inside of the trunk painted, which I've done trunk painting before. Now this is the water-based stuff that I've tried. I'll show a picture of the can right here. I got it from Classic Industries. Now, water-based, I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but I put 2 coats of epoxy on this entire trunk. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I got little spots here and there. See that? Rust. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that yet, if anything. It's just something to share with you that I don't think I like the water-based paint for the trunks. Now, as for durability and texture, I love that. It's actually relatively durable. It doesn't come off. Just put it on, no clear coat. So that part's durable. But really, with 2 coats of epoxy, I should be experiencing stuff like that. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll read the directions or figure out what the heck I did wrong. Hey, look. Now look. Sunshine, and now it's raining. See? Indiana's the best. That's my Boxo part. So I still have to put some more stuff on here. Got like chrome pieces and little small things, but that's kind of like my last of the goodies to install. It's kind of the taillights here. Now, I made a Facebook post on this, and I don't think people are understanding what I was trying to say. These are the taillight lenses from this car. They're clearly not any, not any good. They're busted up. So I took them out, but when I took them out and you're ready to pitch them, look carefully. This is what I would consider normal. The chrome trim goes around the taillight. You'll see that once it's tucked up in the rear tail panel. But you look carefully, this one here is painted black. So what? Someone did that in its life, the car, right? Or did they? Because look here carefully. There's their stainless. It's got this weird silver primer. And then you have this black paint that actually is sort of masked off, but not with tape. Almost as if someone had like a cardboard cutout, hit it black, as if this was intentional. And the other part of the clue that tells me it's just not overspray from a paint job is this is the rubber seal that goes on top of these taillight lenses. If you look carefully, that silver paint and black paint is actually underneath the rubber seals. So that tells me 100% this is painted this way intentionally before being installed. And if I was going to black out my tail ends, why would I paint it silver first? This is, to me, reminds me of something the factory do. So I guess the question becomes, is that factory? I don't think that it was, but man, everything about this tells me this is how it was configured. So if you have the black ring around your taillights, let me know in the comments, or if you've ever seen that before. And I would suspect to have a silver primer and then the black paint. And it's not a defined tape line. It's just kind of a fogging in here. And again, the black was underneath the seal, so that was intentional. Put the vibration dampeners, or all four corners are in the car. Wiring harness is routed. I don't think that was super complicated. It comes down here, tucks up around there, comes into the back. So that's done. And I forgot to order the spare tire jacking instructions sticker, so that's on its way. Dash pad. Look at that brand new dash pad. Nope. That was a hideous, horribly ugly crack. Probably one of the worst cracked dashes I've ever messed with, ever rebuilt. But it came out really nice. Of course, I got stuff sitting everywhere. See if I can get it in here, but it's getting dusty in this poor garage. But came out super ultra nice. So that video will be coming out Friday. Pretty sure I should have all the editing done. So don't worry, you won't miss out on restoring a dash pad. And this is a radio. This is a little secret I'm going to tell you. That is a replacement stereo. It's kind of got some fancy doodads on the inside, but it does have the AM FM button on it and the knobs. But if you really sharp Firebird folks, and ladies, maybe even too, those buttons look a little short. They are. 1969 GTO opening is identical, but the push buttons are shorter. You can buy these radios all day long. Not nearly as expensive as the TransAm version. I think they're nearly $1,000 now for the Firebird. This is a lot less expensive alternative. I've got it hooked up and operational. That's why I said I'm waiting on the speaker. I got to put the center speaker in, and then we can install the cluster. Then I'm going to tell you all about the good, the bad, the ugly on this system right here, the pros and cons of it, right? So don't worry, I'll be doing a video on that here pretty soon. So of course, like I said, I got the glass. That's put in the doors, not adjusted, nor are they tight. Now, these are the original, I usually say what do I call those, Astro vents or vents. There's that chrome paint, chrome in a can. Didn't even mask it off. It really looks like that was intentional. Of course, they were out of the grommets here. It was on the bench by itself, but it came real nice. Did this anything with the little knobs for the pull vents. Kick panels are in. That's all squared away. I'm working on the gas pedal now. So basically, you'll see that I got a lot of stuff behind the scenes taken care of. Console's painted the right color blue. Little pieces are looking kind of blue down there. Under the hood, I haven't really done a whole lot. I guess I put these on, put the cool battery cover on. I've tied down the battery cables with those little plastic clamps and the locations. Now, this is where the location of a lot of stuff, that book, I love this book. Even though there's some things that aren't right, and I'm pointing right at them. You guys know, you know. But this book shows a lot of detail on how, I'll be getting to it. Putting this front bumper and nose pieces together. I put these two left side and right side together. It shows you the orientation of all the hardware. Slap that together, and that's how we're going to put the bumper together. That's why I've got that out and ready to go. I ran some wiring for the tachometer, and I've learned that I have a voltage backfeeding problem from my alternator. The way it was configured and plugged in, my wipers and the radio had power at all times, so I've either got to add a diode or do some more homework on that. So this is the first actual 400 engine wiring harness I've ever installed, and the brown wire stays hot. So, like I said, I got to do some more working on that. That kind of gets you all up to speed. We, of course, did the ram air pans last go around, so this thing's going to need a pretty good cleaning once it's all said and done. Oh, yeah, mirror, door handle, lock cylinders. Weather stripping, these little bump stops. Now, I haven't done the screw-in style piece that goes in here for the convertibles. So I gotta put those on yet still. Oh well. And new weather stripping. Oh, the other note, trunk weather stripping. What I like to use, and I've already put it in here, and you seam it together here in the middle with a little super glue, then masking tape, let that set up. I like using the hollow like the factory had. If you were to take a cross section of this, you'll see holes in it where this actual seal is hollow. And the reason being is it doesn't take as much, I guess, to compress it, to shut the trunk and keep it lined up. But if you've got that really solid seal, I want to kick up the corners or kick up the trunk deck, and then it won't stay shut or look good when it's all squared away. So, oh yeah, license plate. I've got the original style license plate frame sandblasted done. That's his license plate. So we're getting really close to getting this thing back on the road. All right, so that wasn't probably blow your socks off really cool video, but I wanted you to get back up to speed because some of you guys and gals are watching us is to see this car come back together, and I figured you need to see what's been done to it to get you up to speed. Now, I should be doing videos on the rest of the build. The dash pad should be next video coming out. Working on the convertible top frame, get it lubricated. I got new cylinders, new lines for it. The pump's already been tested and good, so I'll be putting that back in and get the frame operational. That's why I had to put the window trim across the top, because the frame comes down, rests right against that. I like getting it where it shuts and you just flip the lever. You don't got to pull on it, you don't got to twist on it. You can actually get that thing to shut really nice. And then, of course, the convertible top, and then the interior, and then a couple small things, and this thing will be out of here. So anyway, I just figured I wanted to get you back up to speed. I'll get back to the building videos, but I just taking care of a lot of small stuff. I felt like I've already done videos on it, checking the history of the Great Pumpkin Project. Or if there is something you want to see, let me know just the same. I'll definitely get some videos out here to you. But next big things, the cluster, the front bumper, convertible top, and top frame. So anyway, I hope you guys appreciate what we've done here, having some fun. I'm looking forward to the next project. Ooh, and the super top secret steering wheel. I have it, and I'm going to put it on there. Either you love them or you hate them, but I can't wait to show that just the same. But nonetheless, I'm going to shut up, take care of some of the more of the small stuff, get the camera out here on these big things, and keep you guys posted on what's happening, and I hope to see you then.
7s, 8s, and 9s. He's got his family working as his crew, a connoisseur of a big orange dew, just a working man trying to save the world, one Firebird at a time.